Well, I'm gonna tell you, chasing is the number one indicator for burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And burnout will have you flustered, discombobulated, all of the terminology that you can think about that leads to be unorganized, unproductive, and you're definitely not gonna get no fucking money.
Or much of any money.
Probably won't get no sleep either.
No. And we're back with another episode of FYM with Ty and Yo. My man Ty.
What's happening?
We in Vegas again. Another day in Vegas.
Yeah.
And with these episodes, they tend to be based off conversations. And Ty asked an interesting question, and it kind of started us spiraling into a conversation that we had to stop, like pull out the cameras, let's talk about it. Ty, what was the question?
What are people chasing?
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say chasing, how do you define or describe the chase?
There is a reckless pursuit of something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? You know, how reckless is the difference between driving 5 miles over the speed limit versus 5 and 30 miles over the speed limit, right? It's a variation, right? So reckless is not general, like one general thing, it's a scale.
Because you can be a super speeder.
Yes, you can be a super chaser.
You know what I'm saying?
You can be a just like, I'm a little expedited chaser.
Right. But chasing is inherently a bit reckless.
So, because when you think about things like, I'm very intentional about words. Mm-hmm. So when you think about, because I don't drink, but people would be like a chaser.
Yeah.
Right? So they want to put something behind the poison that they put in their body.
Right. Cut the dough.
Right. So when I think about all these different things, I'm like, man, what are people chasing, and how does that relate to their overall wellness, growth, and even their fuck you money.
Right. I mean, the first thing that kind of came to mind was recognition. Most people chase being recognized, mostly because I think recognition tends to be associated with wealth of some kind, being able to be rich. I think most people who are celebrities, the idea about their lives or their lifestyle is that it's well paid. And that if you pursue the attention and you get recognized for maybe the thing that you want to be recognized for, or recognized for anything, that will lead to a better, higher quality of life in some form or fashion.
So, me personally, I don't chase nothing.
You have no chase in you.
I have no chase in me.
Okay.
Right? It hasn't always been like that. These are, when you start to really look for more answers, when you start really investing into your personal development, when you start really understanding like what you are, growing towards. So I developed two personal values. They're similar to how a company develops company values, right? So most people will hit a very older age before they even think about the concept of like personal values, the same way a company think about company values, right? So my two personal values, and I've been doing this for a while, but it's been more intense lately, is that one, I'm trying to serve, right? I'm trying to serve people. And then two, I don't do anything that does not relate to me controlling my time. Those are my two North Stars of my personal life and how I operate on a day-to-day basis. So neither one of those are connected to chasing anything. Right? But it is based around intentionality.
Now, before we get too far ahead, Ty, what do you think people are chasing?
Well, I think people are chasing confidence. I think people are chasing, I don't know if validation is something that people are chasing.
Right.
I think people are chasing other people. You know what I'm saying? Got to know they're chasing other people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, those people don't want them.
Right.
But they still chase it. You know what I'm saying?
Can't help it.
I think people are chasing money, which is, good luck with that.
Yeah.
And I think people really don't realize that they chase trauma. You know, in a very unconscious way. And when I say you chase trauma, meaning that one experience traumatized you, but then your second experience has the same characteristics as the one that traumatized you, and you still sign up.
Yeah.
That is an example of chasing trauma.
Now, you brought up intentionality.
Intentionality, baby.
Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, so you feel like intentionality is on the opposite end of the spectrum, where chasing's on as well. Yeah,
intentionality is more like smooth, like, you know, I know exactly where I'm supposed to be, what time I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people that be chasing stuff, and they always late. I ain't never seen nobody that be chasing something and they be on time. But I've seen people that's intentional about how they value time, so they're on time because they're intentional about how they value
it.
Right? I was once told that the faster you go, the harder it is to see the speed limit. I was like, dang, that right. So, but if you're going 45, you can see the speed limit. But if you're going 75, you can't really see the speed limit.
You didn't see it
You
at
can't
all.
even really see outside because it's going so fast.
The blur.
It's a blur.
It's a blur.
That's what chasing is. Everything turns into a blur so that you can't even remember, did you eat? Did you eat?
Did you eat
today?
Did I eat today? What time is it?
Chase. What time is it?
But if you're intentional, you are, one, not reckless. Intentionality isn't reckless.
No, I mean, if you're an honest human being that's not trying to break crime, you know, because there's a lot of scammers that's intentional.
Okay.
But if you have healthy,
that's a good
legal intentions, then yes, you know, intentionality is in your favor.
Right. I guess the way that I see it, though, the idea of intention tends to be what leads to a chase.
Right.
Like, I intend to get this money. I intend to get this person. I intend to get away from this trauma, but it becomes a chase. I think that's how it works in a brain like mine, where I, like you said, you've been a chaser before. I for sure been a chaser before. I can relate to chasing, mostly because I think you have desires, you have wants, you have needs, and when you start to conceptualize how you get somewhere, how you get something, I think you start with being intentional, but then like how you kind of keep that smoothness when you at times can be rash about how bad you want something or how quick you want to get there.
Like, you got to be, when you say smooth, you got to, like, you bringing that plane in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to, because this is the thing, right? You said, when I was thinking about relationships, right? I wasn't thinking about I'm chasing a person, more so, you know, I want to be I'm being intentional about being in a healthy relationship, right? I'm not chasing money. I'm intentional about chasing financial freedom, right? Because financial freedom not always necessarily is connected to how much money you're making versus how that money is being positioned in your life and how you're managing your overhead, right? Versus, you know, chasing money, you can make a whole bunch of money and blow it and then look up and be like, man, I didn't even realize that I blew all this money. You know what I'm saying? So even intentional, or like how you view those different things from a standpoint of like, oh, am I chasing people? Am I chasing this woman that I think is cute? Or am I chasing a healthy relationship?
And I guess that's the biggest difference, right? Like,
I mean, intentional about a healthy relationship.
Right, absolutely. Like, and again, I guess getting into any motion, any movement you know, if you moving the right way, like, man, that man must be, he on the move.
He on the move.
But it don't have to look reckless.
No.
It doesn't have to look like you running over people and cars and children.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you signing up for things that you didn't think about. Because you're less likely to sign up for things if you're intentionally thinking about it. The concept of chasing is that you're following after poison. When I think about chasing, how people use it for like alcohol, it's like you're following up after poison. So like if you're chasing trauma, right? Or if you're chasing money, if a person say they're chasing money, I feel like they're more likely to cheat somebody out of money. Right? But I'm intentional about growing my net worth or growing my, my investment portfolio.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like they are thinking about the intentionality of building community around these things so that they can kind of uplift multiple people.
Right. It's a not.
But if you chasing, I feel like you're gonna run me over to get to the money.
You know, you make it sound selfish, actually.
It can kind of feel out that way.
Well, no, I think it is. I think chasing is very like self-absorbed, self-possessed.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it from like a community standpoint, like working with the intentions of uplifting others, well, you're not gonna be reckless with other people in the car, I hope.
Right.
You know, but I think you're more prone to be reckless if it's just thinking about yourself. Think about how fast you want to get somewhere, how bad you want something, versus like the betterment of it for a whole.
Well, I don't think chasing is a community word. Just like being selfish is not a community word.
Right.
I think that it is a word that works when you are on solo missions that might not necessarily be the most healthiest for you. Because when you're moving in a community perspective, you're thinking about 4 or 5 people moving from the same pace.
Right.
And not everybody's going to be able to move at the same pace. So the fastest person and the slowest person got to find a middle ground, so that everybody can move like in a unified front.
Yeah.
Now that makes it so that you're intentional about the people that's moving with you, right? Just think about when you got a car, there's 5 cars, and you're in the front. You see the light turn yellow. Chasers are going to speed up. Intentional people are going to slow down and just catch the red because they know 4 of the cars behind them.
Yeah.
That's how I see chasers.
Right.
I've been following chasers before in the car, and that makes me almost run the red light, and the third person run the red light recklessly. So every person that passed that red light, it becomes more and more dangerous because the person in the beginning that's chasing that green light, they did not think about the other 4 cars behind them.
And it's very likely that if you speeding up on a yellow light, you're running late somewhere.
Yeah.
Versus like if you on time, like I can stop at red.
Yeah.
I'm not that behind. But I do understand that analogy really well, actually. Do you remember the last time you felt like a chaser?
I can't remember the last time I felt like a chaser because I can't even remember past, like after 2014, I know for sure I wasn't a chaser because when you're building a business independently in the music space, you have to sit down and be intentional because you have so many things that is working against you. But I have identified and seen plenty of chasers that'll go and then they'll disappear. You don't know where they went. You don't know how they progress. You don't know none of those different things, right? So I know for a fact I haven't been a chaser since like August 2014 or something like that. And if I was before then, that's something that I just got to be like, you know what? I feel like it's just a natural thing that was happening because you know who's on the same like train as the chasers? Team No Sleep.
Oh Lord.
It's like Team No Sleep and chasers. Them niggas like Cain and Abel, yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that's just like so reckless about being successful that they damage their bodies and they damage other people around them, and it's not a malicious thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a malicious thing. So
especially you talking about like 2014, if you go back like 2011, I want to say 2011 is when Drake dropped that YOLO record, YOLO Live Once.
You only live once.
And I really remember that time period being like no sleep gang.
YOLO.
You know what I'm saying? Hashtags no sleep. I think there's a time where Wayne was really hot, so people felt like he just stay in the studio and work 7-8 hours. That time period made it feel like grind, and then you'll get to this higher stature based off all of the sacrifices that you've made over time.
Man, you want to know what's so crazy when I think about YOLO back then versus when I think about YOLO now? My perspective is completely different.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you only live once. That means that you should live your best. You should take care of your body. Yeah. You only got one body. Yeah. You only got one life.
Right.
You should be intentional about everything.
Yeah.
Nothing about YOLO to me feels reckless.
Yeah.
But back then,
everything was reckless.
It was like you go out, you got to do the wildest stuff because you only live once.
You only live one time.
And that just shows you the extremes that humans take sayings.
But why do you think that was on the extreme side of the spectrum? Especially at that time, I feel like I know myself, early 20s, I think a lot of people were either going into college, coming out of college, and it felt like there was all this pressure to be successful.
Right.
But it's so interesting that within that pressure, people felt like, oh, go out and sleep with anybody, or go out and drink until you pass out, or go out and pop a molly, I'm sweating. Like that was
the pop a molly, I'm sweating almost.
Yeah, folks were sweating for sure. But why do you feel like that was such an easy thing to be attached to versus a healthier version of like, maybe we should take care of ourselves, maybe we should take care of each other? Like why did it swing to that side of it? Why is it so easy to promote chasing?
I think one, when it coming from a rapper and they're living a one-in-a-lifetime type of life, people is just trying to find their version of that life through YOLO. Right? They're trying to find like, I only live once, so I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to skydive. I'm gonna go do it and live once. And I think people are trying to relate. You know what I'm saying? To that, because the raps, if Common would have said that, Common might would have said it in a completely different way,
100%.
where it wouldn't have even felt the same. But when Drake says it, and he's like outside, you know what I'm saying? I just think people took it as like, oh yeah, I want this type of life, so I can, if I can experience just a piece of this, like I can go and take my $5,000 refund check.
Oh my God.
And try to go to Vegas and see can I flip it because I only live once.
Can I hit it? Can I
hit it? You know, and that was people can get caught up in the get rich quick schemes, all those different type of things.
You know what's interesting? I started getting these weird text messages from like, there was definitely scammers.
Scammers,
but they would say like, hey, I saw your resume, wanted to see if you would be able to do this job. This job pays this amount of money.
Right.
It does this kind of hours. And, if you want to learn more, click this link.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I remember reading it, and before I clicked the link, I remember Googling the company, and everything about it says scam. But I remember the thought in my mind, I was like, oh, this is a remote job. I can make some money. I could do, like the moment you see a certain dollar amount, so you start to spend the money already, just the idea of it, you start to create the world in which this actually works out for you. And then I Googled it.
Right.
Very clear. And I was like, I know they get people. all the time. All the time. And I remember feeling like, well, why is it so easy to be compelled for something like that? Like it's such an obvious scam, but yet the hope is real.
People are chasing, man. I got a text message. I've get these text messages lately. I don't know if my phone number got put onto a nigga that you need a job phone line. Like I don't know what it is. So I've been getting these things like, hey, we got this job, citizen, you want to apply?
Yeah.
And me, I'm a troll. I'm like, I want to buy the company. Who can I talk to buy the company? And the guy, and they started going back and forth with me. Like, well, this job is for like, I said, yeah, but I want to buy the company though. Can you put me to who I can talk to buy the company? And so the person's like, I'm just a rep that work here. So I'll be like, all right, well, listen, you got my number. Whoever owns it, tell them to hit me. I'm trying to buy it. And so I do this, and like, well, I think my girlfriend's like, why? What's wrong with you? Why are you talking to them? Like, so I have people that these random numbers that text me like, hi. And I'll be like, who this? And I'm like, they'll be like, how you doing? How you doing, Randy? It was nice meeting you the other day. I said, this ain't Randy. You got the wrong number. And they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to bother you. But how you doing? Like, I don't know you. And then I just block them. Right? And this happens so much. I don't know why I be even trolling these people.
Hilarious. But one, the person their script isn't ready for someone to buy the scam company. They don't know what to say to that. Like, I didn't text the wrong person. But two, it's so funny that like, you're unmoved. You're so unmoved that you're like, well, let me fuck with you. But the funny part is most people aren't in the position to be like, oh, let me buy this company.
Bro, I be trolling it. I be trolling some of these random scam, like, text messages and stuff, bro. It'd be so funny.
It's when they get your number of all numbers. You ain't got no iPhone. I thought it was usually easy because iMessage, you can hit a nigga with Wi-Fi, you got an Android. You ain't texting, you ain't got no service.
No, yeah, exactly. I ain't got no service, ain't no text. But that's like to go back to your original question, like people fall for scams because they're chasing something.
Yeah.
When you're intentional, you're like, I don't really know if you might not even see the text message.
Yeah.
If you're intentional. You might be somewhere reading.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
so
you won't even see the text message because it's not saved to your phone. You're really focused on this energy. Like, okay, I'm trying to really learn about Bitcoin. Like, it's not connecting with me, but I feel like this is gonna be the future. My friends keep talking about it. So I've been spending the last 3 days on a deep dive on Bitcoin. And you done missed a lot of phone calls. So you ain't even,
okay,
by the time you get to it, you trying to respond back to your mama, your brother, your cousin, maybe some people you work with. You don't even recognize that number to even try to get scammed.
It's such a, well, I hear you. I do understand what you're saying. I also think that level of intentionality feels like tunnel vision.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree. So would you say you need tunnel vision? Like you need to be that intentional about what you're seeking, that there's no room for, I would say, distraction?
I would say that there's a percentage of tunnel vision that every person that's on their different quest needs to acquire to be able to get where they're trying to go, because the life that we live in is so many distractions. Some of these distractions can be a hell of a time. Like you could be in Vegas and you can be like, man, if I can just go to sleep at 10:30, I can get up at 5, at 6, I can get the most of my day. In Vegas, man, they want you to go to dinner. Then when dinner's over at 11, they're like, let's go to here. Then next thing you know, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, I ain't fallen for that in so long. But
you ain't fall for that game?
These is real things, right? And so for me, I believe so deeply in intentionality that if I'm supposed to meet the person, if I'm supposed to meet them, then God just got to position it. And I don't view that as being lazy because I'm not just sitting somewhere not doing nothing.
Right, you're not idle.
No, if I'm not going out to the club to so-called meet people, I am asleep or I am designing a deck or something, or I'm writing something, or I'm having a healthy relationship. I'm having a healthy conversation with someone in my relationship. I mean, with somebody that I have a relationship with, or I'm being a service to somebody, holding space for them because I'm healthy enough mentally and physically to hold space for that individual. But I'm not. I'm never sitting idle. Right.
To your point, though, the idea that you have to go out to meet a person is a concept of chasing.
Yeah.
Like, I know it tends to be the undercurrent is like, oh, that's networking. You're in Vegas, you should be out networking.
It is networking. It's just like you get caught in the net trying to work.
You just came up with that? Is that a new one? That's a new one?
Yeah, that's freestyle right there.
That's a...
You get caught in that net trying to work.
That's a...
And we all know how it is when you get caught in the net. You see fishing.
It's a trap.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Trap. So like, just think about it. A fish sees a bait dangling and they shoot towards that bait and not realizing that it's a net.
No.
Right? No. But they working because they trying to eat. Like they trying to eat.
They think I'm about to eat.
Yeah, they're about to eat in the network. So for me, I don't really like the network, but that net get caught trying to get that work. So me, I'm more so like, I don't want to network. I'm going to say, intentionally, who are the most interesting people I know? And I'm going to ask them, I'm going to be like, hey, so I'm working on this thing, and I'm trying to meet like-minded people. Is there somebody you think I should meet? And I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And
so they're going to be like, well, my homie work at Budweiser. He's not that up, but I think that he can point you to somebody. So I'm going to go talk to the homie at Budweiser.
Right.
And Budweiser's going to be like, you know what? My boss, might be interested in this. Let me take this to my boss. And they take it to their boss. The boss like, man, that's a great idea. Who idea was this? They're like, well, I have a friend that got this thing going on and they wanted to connect. Like, can you connect me with him? I'd rather do that as my form of networking. And not the, hey, what you do for a living? Because you're in a nightclub over EDM music, trying to scream, you lose your voice.
Hanging over your mouth.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like one of the worst experiences. I've literally had spit, like oh my God, this person spitting on me trying to yell. It is just like, oh Jesus, now I got COVID in my ear. I'm like, oh, I definitely want to go home now.
I'm trying to imagine Ty in a club, yelling at somebody 6'1", trying to get something.
Tiptoeing. First of all, I would never be at a club yelling at somebody that's 6'1".
Okay.
Because then I have to tiptoe, and that look crazy. Then I have to lean over too close to the nigga if we sitting down. That looks too crazy. If we can't be, you know what I'm saying, in a very comfortable man position, man distance, you know what I'm saying? And be able to communicate in a very clear way. What's up, bro? How you doing? Hey, man, listen, man, I'm trying to, your partner, I see y'all got that, y'all just came from such and such. You rock with them? Do your people? But I can't be in the nightclub yelling at nobody that's taller than me, bro. That's including a woman that's 6'1".
I'm sorry. I only said that because that's every vision I have of there's a concert, there's a show.
Yeah, bro.
I got a homeboy that's like, yo, you know who you need to meet?
Yeah.
Bro right there. So then we spend the night trying to meet bro right there.
Right.
It never goes well.
No.
It always goes from like, hey bro, this is what I do. Huh? You said yo? Is your name? Your name's not yo. Like people think, oh, yo, what's up? Like, no, my name's yo.
Yeah.
Oh, what you do, bruh? Oh, I'll be right back. 3 hours later, hey, bro, they going to after hours, bro. Like, bro said, come, get in the car. It's 5 a.m. You get an Instagram. Never hit you back.
Right.
And that's like how that shit, I've experienced that being like 24, 25, especially before I had like a job in writing. Everyone was like, yo, go out. You got to network. You got to network. You're not going to get a job if you don't network. A3C. Mass Appeal was hosting one of the shows. You know, Mass Appeal used to have a magazine, and I was like, man, I just want to write for Mass Appeal. So I go to the event, and I'm asking anyone that's like working, like, hey, you know anyone from Mass Appeal here? Anyone from Mass Appeal here? Oh man, I think bro work for Mass Appeal. Go over there. Nah, bro, I do security for the rapper. But you should go ask the bartender. I think they just took some drinks and some folks from Mass Appeal.
Right.
Yo, I went to the whole club. No one from Mass Appeal was there. No one. Like, this is true. So no one was there. And then 3.5 years later, I wrote my first story for Mass Appeal.
Right.
Without ever actually meeting the person.
Right.
They just read my writing on another site. They reached out, said, hey, we would love for you to write this for us. I ended up doing like 2 or 3 stories. Offer me a job.
Man, you wanna know what's so crazy? This just recently happened to me in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I get an invite to this Fanatics party, right? In the Super Bowl.
Okay.
At the Cosmos. It's like one of those like high-end parties. Like when I tell you it was so, I didn't know how hard it was to get into the thing because I just went there for the first time. So I get in there, I'm like, man, it's like owner of NBA teams, NFL teams, like high profile people there. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, right? So, you know, you see people there, you see people that you've done business with, you've like literally done real business with, but you probably never met them. Right. But you've met their people, you're dealing with all the different things, right? So I see Meek Mill, right?
Okay.
It's getting a little active out, like the music is getting louder because now, you know, it's a party, it's a fanatic, it's a high-end party, but it's a party. So I'm like, then they got a nigga Meek Mill. It's been so many people trying to connect us, but all I wanted to go and just be like, introduce myself. We done did work together with Brand, like had to like facilitate a lot of things to get records done for projects. Right. I've had multiple people talking about it, and he's been really big on like the independent music side of things.
Yes.
So, you know, me, I'm not really afraid to approach people. So I went up, like, yo, what's up, bro? But the music was so loud. And mind you now, I'm thinking it's the Fanatics party. Like, it's so many people that you could just walk up to Robert Kraft and be like, hey, you know, it's like that type of joy. Yeah. But bro looked down at me, cause no shot at all. Yeah. Bro went down, he looked down at me like, yeah, what up? I said, I can't really hear. I said, you know what, he actually right, he can't hear. So I kept it moving, right? That's why I don't do the networking shit. You know what I'm saying? Versus if it was somewhere where I could have been able to been heard, maybe the response would have been a lot different. But bro, look.
You knew what time it was.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing this. You know, and that was just me. I'm not even gonna say get out of my comfort zone because I do it all the time. If I don't indirectly told those people, or you know, we indirectly or directly helping each other's business, right? I'm always gonna be like, yo, like this is what we worked on together. I'm always gonna be that person because I know that these things was important to the actual rapper because of the artist, because of what that song meant. I like, oh, this is a song that they really fought for because it meant something to somebody that passed away. But I wasn't able to like communicate that exactly in a loud ass space. You know what I'm saying? Man, bro looked at me like the motherfucker, like, nigga said, I can't hear you, bro. Like, you know, so anybody could have been like turned off by that. Yeah, I was about to say. But I was just like, that's why I don't do this. Yeah. That's why I don't go in the club trying to yell at people to like introduce yourself. Even if unless somebody else that they truly know, or it's like opening up that side of it.
And I think that's a great example of your intention to go talk to Meek did not turn into chasing his reception or chasing him to recognize who you are. Because I do believe there's a version, not with you, but someone else might have felt like, well, let me yell, let me try to because you know, one thing that I've learned, so many people assume that this won't happen again. Right. I won't see Meek again. I don't really know if there's gonna be another chance. I think so much networking is driven by this concept of like, oh, it's gotta be now.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
If it's not now, then it ain't never gonna happen, and I'm not gonna let this chance go by. Like I'm chasing this.
Right. No, it was so many touch points of our business clash with one another, or people like, yo, you should meet him, or from multiple people that we're all in business with. That's the only reason I was like, hey, bro, I want to woo. But I didn't. In my mind, I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna see Meek Mills again, so maybe I should just keep her. No, I'm like, hey, bro, I get it. I ain't really tripping. Like, even if I don't see bro again, it's all good, because the work still has been done,
right?
And it wasn't like anything I needed immediately. Right. I was just more so connecting certain dots.
Yeah, 100%.
That other people was trying to do, but whatever the reason was, you know.
And I just feel like that was the opportunity, right? But the moment you saw that it wasn't,
oh yeah, I'm straight.
You didn't take it personal, or you didn't try to take it beyond what it was.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a great example. I mean, man, every time I've ever seen a person of interest, oh my God, let me tell you one time. Revenge of the Dreamers, J. Cole
right.
did the Atlanta sessions, and I asked Eve, could I come? He blessed me come. And I see Zeke, burying Zeke since the 80s. And Zeke is like, oh man, come to the back. Tree Sounds is where the session was held. Huge facility. But he takes me to the back, Cole's room. Cole's room was about the size of that corner. All right, it is the smallest place in Tree Sounds. And it's J. Cole, Big Crit, Wale, Rick Ross.
Right.
All in this corner, right? And Zeke takes me back there. And at this point, I had just wrote a story about Crit.
Right.
And I was like, man, this might be a time to connect with Crit. And because I already knew Wale. I ain't gonna talk to Rick Ross. I just know, that's out of bounds. I had met Cole before. But in my mind, I was like, man, this is a chance for you to really connect with Crit. I sat down for 1 second, and Cole looks at me. Like, he just looks like, he gave me the craziest look. And he was like, yo, you don't hear anything. That's what you say, like, because he was about to play music, like, you don't hear anything. And at that moment, I was like, I need to go. There's nothing good that's gonna come out of me being back here with these guys. And I politely dabbed everybody up and got out of there.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's another version of myself, a much younger, much more eager, that's like, fuck it, I'm staying. I'm gonna hear everything. I'm about to, what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to make this real uncomfortable for everybody. And I just think, it's one of those things where you really gotta kind of learn how not to try to chase something. Cause it's like, you spend your, if you're a music writer, if you're someone that works in that side of the medium, you listen to these artists, you just pray that you get a chance to have a chance to meet somebody and be like, hey, I'm a big fan. I didn't wrote about you. I love to do an interview, any of those things. But sometimes when you end up in the room, it is not the right time for none of that. And my intention of coming to those sessions was not that. Right. My intentions was to come and see Eve, who I had a lot of respect for. And I wanted to, he said he gave me a chance to write one story. He was like, it was like 7 to 11 days. He was like, yo, you can write one story. So I came in, I wrote my one story, and that was it. But again, it's so interesting how when you're in the pursuit of the thing that you want, there's so much that happens where you can get lost chasing. Right. Like, you can get into the mode of like, oh shit, okay, I got here. Well, let me chase that, then let me chase that. And I believe the blur that you mentioned earlier is probably the best metaphor for what chasing is. It is simply a blur. Mm-hmm. And I remember what happened that day because I wasn't in a blur. Right. Yeah. It wasn't a blur at all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, chasing is the #1 indicator for burnout. Mm-hmm. And burnout will have you flustered, discombobulated, all of the terminology that you can think about that leads to be unorganized, unproductive, and you're definitely not gonna get no fucking money.
Or much of any money.
Probably won't get no sleep either.
No, you definitely ain't getting no sleep.
So the breakdown of intentionality versus chasing, chasing has a lot more bad habits that's attached to it, where intentionality has more positive, reflective habits that's attached to it. Right. And if you lean more towards the intentionality side,
right,
you will probably achieve the goals that you're looking for at a pace that is sustainable for you
right,
on your journey here in Earth as a human in a human body.
Because chasing is not sustainable.
Yeah. I think chasing is really for animals. I mean, we are mammals, but like we have a certain. We have imaginations. Animals don't. Well, they say animals don't have imaginations, but I don't know.
You're not convinced.
I'm not sold on that.
I do think it's interesting that
I don't.
Animals and chasing. I mean, they gotta survive a different kind of like lifestyle than we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's arguable. Like your dog, not a visionary.
I don't know, man. I didn't have a smart dog.
I don't know, man. Like, in their worlds, I feel like there is an Elon Musk version of a dog in a dog world. But that's a whole nother. That's
a different episode. Yeah, but I do agree with you. I think that the most intentional route is the best for your health.
1,000%.
And we're all about healthy success on FU Money. And I think if you are watching this and you're chasing, slow down.
Don't forget the money.
And if you're watching this, you're being intentional, you're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. I feel like this episode is about being on the right track.
Being on the right track. Intentionally being on the right track.
Intentionally being on the right track.
Don't chase much,
Chase that sleep. Get your 8 hours.
Definitely get your 8 hours if your body lets you shut down that long.
How many are you getting these days?
I try to get around 6.
About 6.
I get 8. I'm feeling real good.
Yeah. You still up at 5 a.m.?
No, not 5 a.m. Unless I got like golf lessons or I got to work out in the morning. But other than that, I try to be up by 7.
About 7. I'm like 7:30 right now.
Yeah, that 2 hour would be a big difference.
It's a big. I couldn't do 5. I was trying. You and Susie was talking about it. I tried that for like 2-3 weeks. boy, 5 a.m. club. I wasn't a member. That was not. But good for y'all that get up there early.
Yeah. So once again, thank everybody for tuning in to FU Money. Mm-hmm. Season 3. Intentionality versus chasing. Make up your mind.
Make up your mind.
Make up your mind.
Let us know in the comments if you agree about the way this is being perceived, because, hey, maybe you have a different perspective about what's chasing, what's intentional. We would like to hear it. We might not agree, but we want to hear it.
Yeah, and let me know in the comments if you ever trolled a scammer on your text message.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. I've never heard of someone offering to buy the company. That is funny. that is so funny. I know they was hot. I know they was real mad that day. It's like, goddamn, why this person trying to cop the scam business?
Just give me your social security number, boy.
Why are you asking me all these questions and shit about who my boss is?
I don't think I need your social security number so I can get your fingerprints and EIN number.
Please.
All right, bet. We out.